Well, hey CrossKart fans, here's just an update of what I'm doing in the garage and what I'm prepping for. Now, early September, I'm going back to the asphalt track for round 2 of some on-track driving with this. Now, the first time I went, it was just a proof of concept. I wasn't going to push anything, and I learned a lot, which is everything I wanted to do. Now, the biggest thing I learned is that I had the absolute wrong wheel and tire setup. Not only did it look weird because the wheels were a lot bigger than what I tuned the suspension for, but the wheels were heavy, and heavy wheels steals horsepower. Rotational mass, for every 1 pound of rotational mass, it's like adding 8.4 pounds to the chassis. So let's weigh in our wheels to see our options. So I bought 14-inch rims and I bought some Falcon Azenis tires to run on the track just to get a softer racing tire, but it turned out to be incredibly heavy. So let's weigh them in. These weigh 33 pounds. That's 33 pounds per corner. Now let's check our racing tire setup. The racing tires are 16 pounds. And I'm sure the ones in the rear are heavier than the ones in the front, but we'll just use 16 pounds per corner. So that's a weight savings of 17 pounds per corner. Now at 8.4 pounds per 1 pound of rotational mass, that's 148 pounds per corner. So by using heavier wheels and tires, we are essentially making this 148 pounds heavier per corner. Times 4, that's 571 pounds. We're almost doubling the weight of this. Now, in a weird way, you can imagine it with these tires feeling like it has twice the horsepower. Now, obviously it doesn't, but it's going to seem like it because we're not giving horsepower to rotational mass, if that makes any sense. So us almost hitting triple digits, or maybe hitting triple digits, that's going to be solved absolutely, and I'm super excited about it because it's going to feel, put it this way, it's going to feel like we have all the horsepower instead of just half of it. That's a better way to phrase it. So I'm super pumped about that. And also with the correct diameter tire that I tuned the suspension for, it's going to ride at the correct height, so it's going to look a lot better. Not that that matters a whole lot, but it's got to look cool if it's going to be cool, right? Something else I'm doing is I'm looking into that variation I had while I was driving. Every time I took a right-hand turn, I would get just a little uneasy feel. So I'm going to look through the bearings. I don't think the main bearing needs replaced, but I'm going to check the hinge bearings. There are roller bearings pressed into these hubs so that you have a smooth A-arm motion, and I think those might be bad because I use secondhand ATV parts. So I'll pull that off, check it out, make sure everything's just good. I want the next track day to be everything I wanted the first track day to be. I wanted to run a few cold laps and then start heating it up and see where it went. And I didn't have the confidence with those wheels. I was definitely feeling power being taken, and with that slight variation, I was really hesitant to push it. I did get some good laps in, and what I can tell you is that it's incredibly fun. Incredibly fun. That was such a great day, and I hated that it got cut short. So I want this to be bulletproof when I go back. That's why I'm doing it now, so I can check it, recheck it, double check it, and then day of, be prepared for anything. That's the goal. Also, what I want to do, the bike had a Yoshimura RS3 stainless exhaust with it. Now I've been using a stock exhaust just to keep my neighbors happy, and when I went to the track day, I just ran an open header. Now that engine, the carbs are jetted specifically for this pipe. So when I'm running the stock pipe, it's running rich, and when I'm running an open header, it's running lean. Probably a little bit too lean, and this pipe is probably going to give us some horsepower back at the top of the RPMs. That open header is probably just good for low end stuff. Pipes is where you get your high-end power. So looking forward to fabbing that up, but it's a lot of deconstruction, a little bit of fabrication, and some reconstruction. I don't mind doing that. The only thing I don't like is draining the coolant. Everything else I don't mind, but if I could work on these without having to drain the coolant, I would be way more up for it. As far as everything else on track day, the steering felt good. The rack was nice and tight. The tie rods, the alignment, everything felt very, very solid other than that variance. So I'm going to look it over, make sure everything's greased, but I'm not going to need to do anything. That's not on the checklist necessarily. And finally, the jump. You guys are being really hard on me about the jump. I mean, some of you, not all of you. But the jump, the jump was for fun, and it's for testing, and it's to learn. I'm not going to build something, perfect it, and then just show you the final product. The whole thing of this is showing the process of everything. So first process was just to build a jump, then to jump it, see what it's like. Then to figure out how to tune stuff around it. We can tune the jump, we can change some angles, the approach, change where it lands, maybe make it a step up or a step down. But there was a lot of things learned from that too. So I designed these carts to where you're not gonna dirt dive the front end into the ground. That's important. It's important for approach, it's important for jumping, and it's important all around just to have a buggy that doesn't have stuff hanging off the front and back of it so that you're not hitting the front and back on everything. So to me, in my mind, that was proven. We jumped it all day and it was never unsafe. The carts were never gonna roll or flip or anything. And we just kept hitting it faster and faster. We ended up lifting it up a little bit and just going more and more. In my mind, it was a huge success because we can move forward from it. And that's the whole idea, is to find something you want to do, tune it in, and then move forward, make it better. Always looking to make things better, not to criticize what's wrong with it. I will be working on the jump more, maybe a redesign. As far as the shocks go, a lot of people say to tune the shocks. Well, I got preload. So if the only thing you're going to do with something is drag race it, you can tune it perfectly for drag racing. But then as soon as you get it on like a track with some turns, it's probably going to be crappy. I want these to be all around good for everything. Maybe not the absolute best at one thing, but extremely competitive at everything. So something we could do to make jumping better is to get in here and change the valving for the dampening. That's what's going on. Is the dampening for this is made for a 370-pound four-wheeler, or maybe 400-pound four-wheeler. We're basically adding 200 pounds and asking these shocks to compensate for it. Preload, easy. You compensate it by adding preload. But the internal valving and dampening has to be done inside. So I could take these somewhere and have them revalved for the extra weight of the cart, and it wouldn't spring. See, that's what's happening, is that when you go off the jump, it's compressing the rear, but then it's extending it right at the lip and making it kick. So what we need is to increase that dampening so it's less springy. It's that easy. So maybe we'll look into that in the future. Always looking to upgrade, always looking to make things better. So if I can find a local spring shop, get these revalved and make jumping better without sacrificing ride quality or driftability, I'll 100% do that. So keep tuning in. Always going to be doing cool stuff in here. So I'll see you guys on the next one.